Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a build update number 4 on the 36 Ford Roadster. Lots of sheet metal work, panel fit, getting this body fit over the Art Morrison chassis. So let's get into it. We've gone through and fit up, kind of done like a preliminary fit on all the sheet metal on it, just to gauge where we're at, make sure we don't get too far ahead of ourselves as we make repairs and work on fitting the body down. Because right now, if you remember from the last build update, we cut the entire floor out of this. So this chassis is basically like wheelbase track width, but it's not a bolt-on. So that allows us to control the stance really well, but it also requires us to cut a lot of the floor out and fabricate body mounts and so on. Right now, the body's heavily braced, which we did all of this bracing before the floor was cut out, but we need to really make sure and keep an eye on the overall fit and flow of the body because things still can move. So there's so much rust in this thing, unfortunately, that we actually had to separate the cowl from the quarters and the rest of the body, cut this entire rocker out. So it's been a really long process, and Brian and Cody have been doing bulk of the sheet metal work on this to this point. So you can see a lot of like the patch panels that have been done, just like the stereotypical stuff. This stuff would all been repaired poorly, which you can see in some of the other videos, stuff that just needed to be redone. And then all the inner structure, which is something that people kind of often overlook, is how much work goes into the repairing what was behind it. So likely if the exterior of the body is rusted, the inner stuff behind it is also rusted. And a lot of times there's not patch panels for that type of stuff. So you're stuck fabricating things to rebuild, what you don't even see. We had to do patches on cowl side, quarter side on both sides. Those all blend in nice. You got to make sure that the running board is still fitting well as you're doing that. So it's kind of like a constant step back, look at the whole picture, focus in on making this repair and so on. While we were doing that, we kind of noticed a little issue with the grill and this front end. So there's something that's just off and we haven't quite nailed it yet. It appears that this side had been hit at some point and it actually crunched this whole panel, which was just throwing the grill out of alignment. This is an original grill as far as we can tell, and it seems to be relatively undamaged, but we found a couple of pieces on eBay, original pieces that we're gonna fit in this on these like fender extension pieces and see how that goes, because that's real critical. And that's one thing that's super challenging about these cars. These have got to be the most difficult cars to fit because every single panel has to fit with the next panel, and every movement affects all the panels around it. As you get into 60s cars and stuff like that, and especially like the Corvette that we're doing, like on the hood, for example, there's a perimeter around the hood. That opening doesn't change. So adjusting the hood, you're just adjusting it within the constraints of that opening. But a car like this, there is no constraints. The fenders, everything can kind of move. So kicking the fender up here maybe helps kick the grill up there, but then it screws up the hood gap here and it changes the fit to the running board here, and it affects all the way down the car. So it takes a lot of care and consideration and skill to get one of these cars gapped out right. But it's really impressive when they do, and they're very elegant cars, and I'm very excited to have a chance to build one of these Roadsters, especially for Mike. He's just been a great customer, so it's been a really fun process so far. So as we're fitting all these body panels and everything, you inherently sometimes have to use shims, and that's why we created these billet aluminum shims. This particular one is anodized. We also have an aluminum one, but they're round, so when you line them all up, they look really seamless and good, and sometimes you see that edge. So just a little bit more detail. They're available on our website, so check it out. We've got them all the way from like a 32nd up to a 1/4 inch thick. These actually come standard with Art Morrison chassis too. They fit right in the front control arm for doing alignments. So that's kind of part of the reason this started. We have like a mock-up tire that we've put on the hub. How we can control the stance of this is we can control the position of the body on the frame. So we can raise and lower it, set the body mounts wherever we want. So we want to get a nice stance, kind of basing this off of the 4-door convertible that we built under Street Rods by Denny years ago, and that's kind of what inspired this project a little bit for Mike. Front and rear tires on. Also need to make sure the wheels are centered in the opening, because like I've said in other videos too, when you lower a car, you change the center of the tire, the center of the wheel. If you're looking at the gap, fender to tire is what you're referencing for the wheel looking centered in the opening. As you move the wheel center up, the opening changes, so it makes the tire appear that it's off-centered. So a lot of times we actually have to adjust the fender or adjust the wheelbase to make the car look like the tires are centered in the opening when it's lowered. So like the truck that we did, the C10 truck that we're working on right now, Detroit Speed actually moves the whole cradle forward because the truck goes so much lower and that gives it a better appearance. So anyways, it's just one of those things that you might not notice. Maybe you're cursed now because you're going to notice all these lowered cars that the wheels are off centered, but just all stuff we have to pay attention to. Cody got most of the body mounts built, so that's all turning out good. We need to get the motor and tranny in. That'll be a great update. Maybe at that point we'll have the car on the ground because the body is getting to a point where it's secured to the chassis, but we have to make sure our pinion angle is good, make sure our clearance for the oil pan is good, make sure we have clearance for the air cleaner to the hood and all those kinds of things. And then we'll start building the floor around it. So I think we can use most of like the stock replacement floor, but we'll end up like building a tunnel, probably building the toe boards and different stuff like that to fit around this engine. We've already got the modified like small block Chevy firewall in it, which pushes everything back and gives a little bit more room. We're probably gonna start working on some more detailed like renderings with Tavis Highlander. So that'll be a fun process. Mike's got a bunch of cool ideas, different things with the gauges and different stuff like that. So kind of looking forward to that as we get a lot of the bones of this car together where we can start seeing some of those design decisions. We also need to figure out a different door latch. So I know these doors had popped open a couple of times on Mike driving down the road. Granted, that was probably due to the chassis and the flex, and we're gonna be overcoming a lot of that. If you've ever done something, I've never seen it without cutting everything apart on a Roadster. I've never seen a good door latch setup. So if you have done something or you've seen something like that, just leave us a comment or shoot me a message. That'd be really helpful. We're also going to be doing wheel tubs in this. So you can see with the Art Morrison chassis, you get a little extra room because the frame rails are inboard from where they used to be. So originally the frame rail was out here. Morrison moves the frame inboard about 2 inches. So that gives us a little more space for a tire. So we'll fabricate a wheel well, a wheel tub for it that'll just tie back into the original body stuff. And they actually had bolt body mounts that went sideways into the frame. Got to do a custom stainless tank. We'll get Zach at Precision Stainless to make us one. Just draw it up, basically tell him what we want, what engine we're using. He'll help us pick a fuel pump and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it real easy. Cody built this really nice rear body mount. Ties into where this brace goes. The same brace goes all the way up for the spare tire. Mike had an idea to do something trick for the spare tire and the fuel fill and stuff that we'll see how that pans out. Yeah, this whole rear panel too, unfortunately had to be replaced. This is common. This is all stuff that I did to like my grandpa's 35 Ford years ago too. And some of this stuff we did to the other 36, and yeah, it's kind of typical damage. Somebody had like Frenched in the license plate at some point is what it looked like, and then kind of poorly welded it all back together, repaired it. Yeah, and we still want to go through and like kind of fix some of this. This is like a lot of, old school repairs and stuff. Granted, people weren't putting as much energy and effort into these cars as we are now. They weren't seen as valuable or sought after now compared to back then. Like this is all overlapped and welded, and well, there's a couple of problems. It traps moisture in between the panels, and as the metal heat and cools, it expands at different rates. So chances are you're going to see some shrink back and some movement in the paint after the car is all painted. If in 70-degree weather it looks perfectly smooth, and 90-degree weather, now you have these panels wanting to move and they're under tension, so you see some lines in the paint, and then you go back to 70-degree weather and maybe it cools and it's fine. But those are the kinds of things, and the reason we go through and butt weld everything together and get it all flushed out nice, make a seamless repair. So when I talk about bolting the body down to the chassis and making body mounts, this is an example of one of the body mounts. Cody had to fabricate this bracket that goes on the frame, as you can see. Also, this section of the firewall is different now because of the new firewall and how low we're moving the body over the top of it. So all of this is fabricated. It's isolated with this like kind of more dense urethane bushing. And there's currently 8 locations that it's bolted down to the frame. These cars, the floor also relies on the frame, so it'll bolt down throughout the floor too, so it's got plenty of support. But that's kind of a factory location for the frame mount, and then it ties all the way back in, obviously, for these fender mounts and so on. So the location of that's super critical. But that's a big part of like the process that we're going through right now with the body just hovering over the chassis. Like we've got all the plumb bobs and the string lines and everything set up, and we're using lasers and all that, because that's one of the big benefits right now of like having this body sitting on the frame on the table, is we know the table is true, we know it's square, and we can kind of reference off of that as we work through this. It's nice to be up at a nicer working height too, of course, but that's really the main reason, is it's level and we can rely on it as we work from this end of the car and up and down and so on. So this car, we're just kind of using more or less like factory locations. We like to build things that make sure they maintain a little bit of adjustment. So we know that this is like thicker than it needs to be. We leave clearance here so that we can move this up and down. So that's kind of a consideration, but in this car, just mainly sticking with factory locations to start. You know, you don't want to get to this point too soon, because like I said, with the wheel diameter, sitting that on there, the body can move front to back on the chassis, the body can move up and down, the body can move angled, all of that kind of stuff. And you really have to, you just got to pay attention to everything right now, because, and constantly be stepping back and looking at the project as a whole. I would say that that's where like a home builder or somebody that's doing their first build or something would find themselves in trouble a little bit, is it's hard to stand back and see that whole picture. And it's also hard to focus in and get to work. So I know for myself, as I'm working through a job like this, it almost can feel a little bit overwhelming because there's so many different things to think about. When you get confident in one thing that you can do, you just attack it and get it done and work through it. And then it kind of leads you into the next thing. And even though it feels like there's 100 different paths you can take on a project like this, as you get into it, you almost find that there's really only one way to go through it, in a sense, because of how everything relates to each other. And we want to make sure these things are really cohesive, really comfortable to drive, and just work well. So it's fun though. I mean, it's a really fun process to go through, especially when you have a really good team of people that are knowledgeable and you can all contribute. And that's how this is all coming together. Another thing we've been trying to land on is how to manage bare metal on a car when it's in the shop being worked on. And we saw these, I think Big Kid Blocks is the page. He's been doing like a bunch of tech tips on bodywork and painting and their process. We found these prep wipes basically that kind of metal prep the surface. And they just said they use them if they work on the panel all day, maybe they DA it or something, and they just wipe it down with these prep wipes. And it leaves it looking like this, which if you know metal prep, this is kind of the surface finish that you get after prepping. I don't know, I just don't really like looking at it, to be honest. So, and we've tried, like Rad Rides does, they have like the oil, which or like Gibbs oil or something that they oil the panel, but for some reason that just freaks me out. A painted part that we're gonna be rubbing oil on it, then trying to clean it later. So maybe you have something, maybe you have a process that you've done and really stuck with. I have never landed on something that I'm really happy with. I don't like the look of this. I don't like putting oil on it. Maybe I just need to get over it. But anyways, maybe that'll spark a conversation. Thanks for watching this build update on the 36 Ford Roadster. If you like it, like it. If you have a question, ask it. And stay tuned for more. I don't know, I just don't really like looking at it, to be honest.